900 horsepower racing engines is about to be unleashed at another of America's great road racing circuits. It's Sonoma Raceway in the picturesque hills of California wine country, the site of round 3 of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli, the green flag, moments away, live here on Racing America. And hi, everybody, from the Trans Am paddock. Alan Bestwick joined by former Trans Am champion and top 10 all-time in Trans Am wins, Boris Said. Thanks for doing this with me this weekend.
Great, good to be here.
When you and I drove in the gates of Sonoma Raceway yesterday morning, you kind of let out this spontaneous, man, I've raced so many laps on this racetrack. What do you love about this?
I mean, it's such a unique track. I mean, the biggest thing is there isn't really a straightaway, so it's very technical, very physical. Hard to look at the gauges just because you're so busy up and down the hills. So it's very unique, but the racing's going to be great today.
And Trans Am cars on this race course, what are we looking for?
Well, I mean, with the Trans Am cars, almost 900 horsepower, it's a tire management game. It's so easy with these tight corners and the elevation to spin the rear tire. So it's going to be a lot of driver, just taking care of the tires, have something there at the end, but it takes a lot of discipline in a TA1 car.
Discipline means be opportunistic when your passing chances come, for sure.
Correct.
Yeah. All right, so we'll look forward to that. They're getting ready to open the grid. We're standing in front of the Chris Dyson Racing entries. They are on the front row for today. That will be driven by Matt Brabham. That will be driven by Rafa Matos. More on that coming up very shortly. First, though, let's start with a look back when we last saw these Trans Am cars on the racetrack. It was 6 weeks ago. We must be having fun. Time is flying. 6 weeks ago at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. It was kind of an overcast day, threat of some precipitation, but we saw some spirited fights for position in the top 5. You got Martin Ragginger and Tommy Dreese, then Dreese and Adam Andretti for the final podium spot. David Pintarek was in that fight until something pierced his car's front end. The damage was too much to overcome. Had a lot of fun with the TA Cup Class 2. Phil Fogg Jr. got turned aside but rallied for a podium spot. Meanwhile, up front, it was all Matthew Brabham. He started on pole, kept Paul Menard at bay for all 100 miles. He remained perfect on the season. With 2 starts and 2 wins, Paul Menard finishing second both times. That's how it was 6 weeks ago at Road Atlanta. Now we're here clear across the country at Sonoma Raceway, and the outcome in qualifying was exactly the same. Matthew Brabham in this CD Racing 16 on pole position. He was tough yesterday.
He's tough, but I mean, clearly it's a 2-horse race for the championship with Brabham and Paul Menard. But now you have a new something thrown in, a horseshoe thrown in with Rafa Matos. I mean, he is the Brazilian, got the passion, got the speed, and I think he could mix up the results this weekend. He could be in a chance to win. So
Rafa, the 3-time TA2 champion and the all-time leader in race wins in TA2, was here to race his TA2 car. He has done some testing for the Dyson Racing team in the past and got the call when Chris Dyson was unable to make it here due to an illness, and Rafa jumped in the car on short notice for the Thursday test sessions and put it on the front row. Adapting to that and jumping back and forth between the TA and the TA2 cars is his challenge this weekend.
It's a challenge, and for Rafa, I don't think it's going to be a big deal because he's been around forever. He's a veteran. And he's just filling in for Chris, and everyone said, oh, it's decent, but he turned heads with his qualifying time to be within 0.2 of Matty Brabham. And they say it's not an audition, but it's always an audition. And I think Rafa's going to be amazing today to watch.
I think so, too. So they've just opened the grid. So these cars are about to fire up. There's Rafa back there, by the way. I don't know if you can see him by the rear wing of the car in the camera shot. These cars are about to fire up and move around to the grid. We're going to walk that way, too, and start talking to drivers. That is next when all of the Trans Am drivers get ready to go racing here at Sonoma Raceway. Part 1 of a 2-race doubleheader. 100 miles today, 100 miles tomorrow. It's all live on Racing America, and we count down to today's green flag when we come back to California wine country.
Born on America's greatest racetracks, developed in the Top Liner lab, tested where it matters most. At every turn, every lap, every win. A protective coating engineered under extreme conditions, applied with precision, designed to last. For high-speed laps, and for the people who keep America moving. Top Liner. Dealer opportunities nationwide. Inquire for your area at topliner.com.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Getting ready to go into this awesome Trans Am National TA2 TA Cup. I'm calling it the double-double. Trans Am National, brought to you by JM Environmental. And father and son, back-to-back, Saturday, Sunday, both racing both classes. So I get to race my youngest son in a Trans Am National event at Sonoma. It's going to be an incredible weekend for us.
Fans of a certain California-originated restaurant chain will appreciate John Moore calling this the double-double weekend.
I think you will.
If you know, you know. 2 races in 2 days for both the TA and TA2 cars, all live here on Racing America from Sonoma. You can hear these V8 engines roaring in the background. They just moved around to the grid and getting ready to stage the cars before the start of today's round 3 of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. Before we came here to California, we polled all of the Trans Am drivers and the TA2 drivers. What's the secret? What are the keys to a good race in Sonoma?
You know, the key to winning at Sonoma is hustle.
Carry all the speed through the corners.
Getting your marks, there's a lot of blind turns, you gotta hit your marks.
Mastering the last corner and defending.
Smooth, fast, hit your marks. Hit the marks is very technical, so you have to hit your marks every time.
Not making any mistakes because the track is super high speed and there's pretty big consequences if you go off track.
Key to winning at Sonoma is staying out of the sand.
Sonoma is really unique because of how fast and how much elevation there was in turn 1.
And getting through the S's and up and down like crazy elevation.
The key to winning at Sonoma would be just staying on track. I feel like it's easy to dip a tire and get your tires dirty.
It's consistency in keeping tires underneath you because you're constantly turning. There's no time to breathe.
You've got to keep the car on the racetrack. I know it sounds simple, but it's really hard to do, especially with a high horsepower car.
It's a high degradation track, and so you're really using the fronts throughout the race.
Being able to hustle the car every single lap because there's no resting there.
Start on pole and don't let anybody else decide your race.
The most unique thing about Sonoma is that it's built into the side of a hill.
It's so technical and so blind.
The elevation changes.
Sonoma's really fun because the elevation, turn 1's ridiculous.
You never rest at Sonoma. About half the corners are blind on the way in.
It's very unique in its layout, its configuration. All the corners are kind of unique to Sonoma.
On one part of the track, you're just going uphill the whole time, and then on the other part of the track, you're going downhill all the time.
It's Sears Point. That's really the name of the track. An old school guy like me, we called it Sears Point. You know, I raced there when I was 22 years old, and now I'm 69. I'm still racing on the same racetrack. That's pretty cool.
You don't rest. You're always busy.
Takes a different setup, different driving style.
And sounds cool, looks cool, feels cool, checks all the boxes.
Those are the thoughts of a lot of the drivers in Trans Am and TA2 competition this weekend. Boris, you've won here in all kinds of different racing machinery, including Trans Am. What are your keys to a successful day at this circuit?
Well, the most important thing is it's such a technical track, you need to be there at the end. And with all the elevation, the blind corners, it's easy to get into trouble. But my number one thing was keep the rear tires on it. With these 900 horsepower cars and these tight turns and off camber, it's really easy to get wheel spin, heat the tires up, and that could ruin your day pretty fast at the end of the race. So keeping the tires under the car is the key, in my opinion.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that as the race unfolds today. Now, remember, there's multi-class racing in Trans Am Series competition. One of the drivers fighting for the SGT, the Super GT Championship, is Patrick Hutt. Patrick, originally from Wisconsin, makes his home now in the Tampa Bay area. He's the focus of our next-gen driver profile today. You see, Patrick, he started getting involved in Trans Am racing as a teenager as a crew chief for his older brother. Then got involved in the driving himself. He's grown from being a regional racer onto the national circuit now, and our Ben Sissel is standing by with Patrick Hutt.
Thank you so much, Alan. I'm here with my friend Patrick Hutt, longtime friend, in this beautiful race Quip car. Second in Super GT, that's got to feel good, but how do you get to the first in Super GT?
Well, it's going to be tough. Chris Coffey's been faster than me at every track we've been to so far. He's faster than me here. I didn't get many laps this weekend, though. I've been fighting mechanical gremlins, a broken axle. They had to change the rear end, the late night hours for the team. And then yesterday, we couldn't diagnose a smoking issue, so we had to pull the motor. It's probably a cracked cylinder head. So we swapped engines, and the crew, again, another long nighter. Don't get Vince or any of the TRB crew on film because they all got big bags under their eyes today, okay?
I love it. I love it. Now talk to me about this helmet. That is a great looking helmet.
That's a RaceQuip product that I actually designed with the help of a helmet painter. And we put it in production. Everybody thinks it's custom painted, but no, that's an off-the-shelf item from RaceQuip.
Amazing. Off-the-shelf item from RaceQuip. Patrick Hutt in the number 49 Super GT. Awesome to have you out here. Back to you guys.
Okay, Ben, thanks. All right, here's the fun part of doing this with me down here. We get to go talk to drivers. You take the camera, find somebody to talk to. Go.
Let's go talk to the super sub, Rafa, if he's busy. Rafa, so this is a big weekend for you, right? Called in, you mixed it up pretty good. You're right in the middle of the guys running for the championship. Can you win this race?
Oh, yeah, that's the plan. I have a really strong Jim Weed car, and I think the car is going to be very strong in the race. Couldn't be more thankful for the opportunity. Got a call from Dyson 6 a.m. 2 days ago, and happy to sub for him. The car has been fantastic all weekend long. The CD boys did a fantastic job, and I'm truly excited to be here, and hopefully we'll give them a good fight and fight for the win.
One thing about this guy, I've known him for years as a friend and a racer. He's a Brazilian maniac. This guy will drive a car 10/10 the whole time, and he's going to be exciting no matter what.
Yeah. I'm truly excited and very thankful for the opportunity. Hopefully I will get some other opportunities later in the year.
We're going to love watching it.
Thank you.
All right, come on, let's go this way. Let's go up here and talk to his teammate who's on the pole for this race and looking to remain perfect in Trans Am competition this season. Here's Matthew Brabham, got his beautiful Ford Mustang all lined up here on pole position. Matty, obviously it's been a pretty good weekend so far. You're smiling. Last time I saw you, you were jumping trucks over ramps at Long Beach. Now you're driving a Trans Am car here at Sonoma. What's that transition like? Does it take a minute?
No, not really. I mean, Boris could probably attest to that. When you drive all these different cars, you learn all these different skills and techniques, and you just kind of have to match it with what feels fast. So, no, I think it's a help to all the stuff that I do across all the different platforms of racing. But no, it's so good to be here. It's early in the morning. The Jim Weed car's looking good. I've had some of the Jim Weed in the morning to wake me up, and I'm feeling pretty good. I was waiting for the makeup crew to come out and fix Boris up and make him look a little bit better, but no, it's good to see you guys out here, so thank you very much.
Easy, I might talk bad about you. Let me ask you one question. Your rival for the championship, Paul Menard's got 4 brand new tires on. Is that any worry?
No, not really. I was kind of surprised they did that, because to me, we only have like 5 laps on the tires in qualifying, and usually if you just scrub them in like that, they last longer in the race anyway. So, and then he has to give up a position as well. So he's behind Dave Pinteric, and it's so hard to pass here. Like, it's almost impossible to pass here if you make your car wide enough. So I was surprised. I think he's just gambling for the end of the race if there's a yellow or something. But yeah, it was interesting to me.
Well, good luck today. Make it exciting.
and the Boris makeup thing, just like driving your race car, you got to know your limits. We know our limits, so it's all good.
Well, I feel safer now because he's not on the track with me. That's where he's really dangerous, right?
Oh, easy. I might give you
All right, good luck today. Matthew Brabham starting on pole position. You know, if you'd like to get to know more about Matthew and all the drivers in Trans Am racing, big suggestion for me is to check out Road to Glory. It's a documentary series on RacingAmerica.tv and the Trans Am YouTube channel. It's a behind-the-scenes look at the drivers, the preparation for the races themselves, and this week's new episode features the young Georgia driver Graham Jacobson and what he's going through trying to establish himself as a Trans Am driver.
I mean, I guess quoting the Ford versus Ferrari movie, there's just a certain point at a certain, RPM with just the engine screaming and stuff like that where you just feel at peace and like the whole world just goes quiet, whether it's packing up on a race start, double file, and just that adrenaline rush and just how it just makes me feel like I can express myself, and it just makes me feel like I'm at home and where I belong to be, where I'm meant to be.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy to make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust Next Gen to protect your car every day. Find Next Gen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts delivers strength, precision, and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
JM Environmental Incorporated, Northern California's leader in demolition, hazardous materials remediation, and abatement since 1994. Performance, progress, service accelerated. On the job site and on the track. JM Environmental, proudly powering JM Racing. Proudly supporting Trans Am and Racing America.
Thank you very much. I'm here with my friend Cole Moore, who's been on the podium with us several times this season. But JM Environmental is the title sponsor of this weekend here at Sonoma, near your hometown. Tell us about JM Environmental.
Yeah, JM Environmental, which I'm an estimator, project manager at, away from the track. We do abatement and demo. So, if you need a building to go away, if you need hazardous materials remediated, we're the guys in California that you call to come do that.
And I saw like asbestos remediation, things like that. So that sounds like a very interesting job. But this is the double-double, but really it's the double-double-double because it's 2 drivers, 2 cars, 2 races this weekend. Is that too much, or are you pretty good with that?
I like it. Getting in the Cup car into the TA2 car, it gives me a little more confidence transitioning. So just staying hydrated. Unfortunately, my 99 car is having some issues, so we got a secondary driver testing that in this race. I'm driving my dad's car. My dad's driving Chris Evans' car, so thanks to those guys for kind of taking the bullet for me since I'm leading the points. And, yeah, I'm just ready to start in the back and see if I can make my way through.
Love it. Well, that's Cole Moore. Then Chris Coffey, our leader in SGT. Patrick Gutt's right behind him in that Ferrari. Then we come through here in this beautiful Chris Evans TA Cup car. is the man, John Moore, right there. So they had to switch cars in this. I'm not sure what it'll be like tomorrow. Then Kanicki is in this beautiful car here. Look at this. This is another one of our Kahlberg Racing, this beautiful Dodge Challenger SRT TA Cup car. Absolutely love having Kanicki out here. Then Aaron Young, new to TA Cup, in this beautiful 08. Beautiful car with the central welding supply on the side. My friend Ken Twaits here with the Franklin Road Apparel TA Cup. Good luck out there, Ken. And with that, we're going to send a break because we're going to fire up some of these monsters.
Born on America's greatest racetracks, developed in the Top Liner lab, tested where it matters most. At every turn, every lap, every win. A protective coating engineered under extreme conditions, applied with precision, designed to last. For high-speed laps and for the people who keep America moving. Top Liner. Dealer opportunities nationwide. Inquire for your area at topliner.com.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Today's race, round 3 of the Trans Am National Championship schedule from Sonoma Raceway in the beautiful California wine country. It's also the season opener for the Trans Am Western Championship, a season that is based naturally in the western United States. Began back in 2017. Tommy Dreese won that first race at Willow Springs Raceway here in California. It uses the same rules as the National Series. And after today, the Western Championship races at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca and concludes its season in a combined event with the National Tour at Circuit of the Americas in early November. All right, let's check downstairs. It's about time to get going and start these things up. Ben Sissel is on the grid.
Well, I've seen my friend Tyler Wade all weekend. He runs in our Formula class, did really well at NOLA. He's with his dad, Derek Wade, and they run U.S. Safety Solutions. Derek, tell us a little bit about that.
We're a direct-to-consumer MRO company. We have safety, emergency, and sustainability products for automotive and facilities.
I love it. I love it. To deliver the most famous words in motorsports, Derek and Tyler Wade, take it away. Driver.
So we're ready to go. The car's on the false grid, as they call it. They'll roll right out onto the pit lane and roll right off for their 2 pace laps before the start of today's race. The traditional distance in Trans Am competition, of course, 100 miles. Here at Sonoma Raceway, it actually works out to about 101 with the math. But we'll find that out here in just a minute when we look at our track facts.
It's going to be an important couple of pace laps because it's unusually cold here. I don't even think it's 60 degrees right now, so they're going to really have to get some heat in these tires, or they're going to be slip-sliding that first couple laps.
I'll bet so. Yeah, chilly start to the day, overcast. Not supposed to see any rain, but it's going to be an interesting thing with the cool conditions. There's a look. Our 12-turn road course, 2.52 miles is the distance. Sonoma Raceway opened back in 1969. It kind of really took off after the old Riverside Raceway closed in Southern California, and NASCAR came here in 1989. Speedway Motorsports took it over in the mid-1990s. You could see all of the amazing improvements they've made over this place over the years, including the broadcast booth we sit in, by the way. And that said, the natural beauty surrounding the racetrack is all still there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot has changed around the track with all these buildings and structures they built, but the same old track is still the same, and it's still a great circuit. Super technical, a lot of elevation change. It's a tiring track. It's one of the most physical tracks we race on because you have no time to rest. You don't have that big, long straightaway like Watkins Glen or Road America. So it's tough for some drivers some days. A lot of times the crew guys get mad at you because they're yelling at you, what's the engine temperature? What's the oil temperature? And it's hard to look here because you're so busy. So it's always interesting racing.
Carousel right there, one of the big challenges. Here's one of the two great passing zones.
Turn 7 is one of the great passing zones. The S's, that's what the track's famous for. Requires a lot of commitment. There's a lot of speed. Some people brake, some people don't brake. As you come into turn 10, the most important corner on the track, because it leads to the best passing zone on the track, turn 11, the hairpin.
So 2.52 miles, 12 turns around that last little left-hand bend to get you back to the start-finish line to complete a lap at Sonoma Raceway. Lots of elevation change. You're looking at this angle as the cars leave the pit lane. That camera's way above the race course on a hill.
Yeah, I mean,
and look at this.
TV doesn't do it justice. I mean, that's about a 3-story rise going up into turn 2, so it's very steep. One of my favorite passing spots. Outside of turn 1 into turn 2, but it requires kind of a hip check, and these cars wouldn't like that. More of a NASCAR pass.
Yeah, exactly. It's a full-body pass for sure. So as the cars begin the first of their 2 pace laps, a reminder that Trans Am racing is multi-class racing, and there are different combinations of cars. The full-board Trans Am cars, the Extreme GT, the GT1 cars, which are kind of older Trans Am cars, some of the older spec rules. TA Cup will feature prominently today. That started on the West Coast, and there are a number of TA Cup cars in our field today. The Super GT and GT cars as well, all on the track at the same time. And, of course, we got the Western Championship in as well, along with the National Championship. So there'll be some new names and new faces if you've been following the season through the first 2 rounds that you'll see on the race course for this one today.
You know, it's interesting because TA is the fastest class. You know, they're almost 900 horsepower. But the TA Cup cars almost have the same motors, a little less race stuff, smaller brakes, smaller tires, but in a straight line, they're pretty tough to get past. So sometimes when they start lapping in traffic, it's going to be interesting.
All right, a look at our starting lineup for today's race. The 2 CD racing cars on the front row. Matthew Brabham and Rafa Matos are on the front row. David Pintarek never made a qualifying lap, but because all of the other Trans Am cars in the field changed more than one tire after qualifying and go to the back of the class grid for that penalty.
That's confusing, Alan. I don't quite understand.
Pintarek moves up.
It's going to be exciting.
And he starts in 3rd position. Paul Menard, Tommy Dreese, Simon Gregg also changed those tires after qualifying, so they start behind Pintarek. At the head of the TA Cup class, Jim Guthrie, the former IndyCar winner from Albuquerque. He's top qualifier there. He won here last year in TA Cup and won the class's last race at Road Atlanta. The SGT Fast qualifier is Chris Coffey in his Ferrari with a new lap record for that class, and we're 1 lap away from seeing the green flag.
As we watch the pace lap, what I'm noticing is Matty Brabham doesn't seem to be putting a lot of effort into warming his tires compared to Rafa Matos right behind him.
And that tells you, in your experience, what?
I think that Rafa's going to be very aggressive at the start, I think.
That would not be a surprise, especially hearing your interview with him earlier.
Yeah, but maybe Matty Brabham just thinks, he's my teammate, he's going to stay behind me, I don't have to worry about it. I'll worry about getting my tires up to temp when the green flag comes down.
So there you see, 54 degrees is the outside air temperature. It's a chilly morning. We're still warming up from being out on the grid doing our pre-show.
Yeah, it's not Southern California weather right now.
I know, and especially considering we're in Northern California, too.
True.
A point for me there?
A point for you, but when we come here and race, NASCAR in June, it's, Africa hot here. It's usually in the high 90s, and it's really hot.
And Ben Sissel reporting up for the pit lane. The track temperature right now, 55 degrees, which is about 50 degrees colder than it was in their last session for the TA cars in qualifying yesterday.
And that's going to change the way the cars handle, and it's going to definitely take a few laps to get these cars up to temperature in the tires so they can have the most grip they can have.
So things to think about at the start. Those cold tires. Some drivers like David Pintarek, who haven't been out on the racetrack much this weekend. He had an engine problem yesterday in the Valtrain and had to change engines, so he never made a qualifying lap. He had a 3/4 of a lap reconnaissance lap this morning that Trans Am officials allowed him just to check and make sure there were no leaks or anything. He's starting the race cold on the inside of row number 2. And then you've got a number of drivers in the TA Cup class who shuffled around who's driving what car today. TA Cup cars all come from Chris Evans race cars, and a number of the drivers shuffling around who's driving what machine today based on some mechanical difficulties in a couple of the cars. So there are guys making the first lap they're going to make all weekend behind the wheel of one of those TA Cup cars as they go green and charge up the hill to turn number 1.
Well, that should make it entertaining. Here they go. They're all lined up, and we're ready to go.
40 laps, the distance around our Sonoma Raceway course, 101.6 miles the distance. It is the green striped Mustang of Matthew Brabham on pole position. Rafa Matos in the red and orange striped Mustang alongside him. And we come to the green flag, and we're racing round 3 of the Trans Am Series by Pirelli.
Paul Menard looked very aggressive at the start.
Here's Matos making that Boris Said move, trying to hang the drivers right up the hill, turn 1.
Wow, that was a good pass. And you can see the 16 car, the tires are not warm.
So Matos will take the early lead. Brabham, for the first time all season, is not leading the Trans Am field.
And I'm going to put that down that he didn't prepare his tires good enough on those 2 pace laps compared to Rafa.
So settling in line behind them is Menard, then Tommy Dreese, David Pintarek, and then the TA Cup leader and the TA Cup pole sitter of Jim Guthrie. Here's the carousel first time.
Yeah, the carousel is, on TV it's hard to tell how far down you're going, just downhill, a little off camber, up to one of the most important, the really only straightaway on the track and a good passing zone into turn 7 here. As Tommy Dreese takes a look at Pintera.
Tommy Dreese in that black trench shoring number 8 car, former Trans Am champion. Down through the S's and a lead change. Brabham is back out in front.
We missed that. I wonder where he did that. Must have been going into turn 7.
So Brabham the leader now. Matos is second. Menard is third. Then the gap back to the fight for 4th between Dreese and Pintarek. Look at the sparks fly off Menard's car as they hit that little bump right there at the pit entry.
Yeah, I'm sure the tires aren't even up to pressure yet, so a little less ride height right now early in the race. They're easing away from Paul Menard right now early in the race.
Well, so far, Matty Brabham, after losing the lead uphill to turn 1, he gets back his perfect record because he got the lead back before Matos officially led a lap. so Brabham is perfect on the season so far in that CD Racing 16.
If I was Matty Brabham, I'd almost rather be behind Rafa instead of having him in my rearview mirror the whole race.
On the carousel they go. Now let's talk about tires. You mentioned this in our pre-show, but how to get the most out of the tires for all 101 miles of this race.
There's 2 places that makes a big difference. Coming out of 4, it's off camber, down the hill. It's very easy to spin the tires on these cars.
Yep.
Very easy off the turn 11, the hairpin. to get in the gas a little aggressive and spin the tires. And what the tires don't like is they don't want to get overheated, and spinning them is the easiest way to do that. And that takes away grip. And the longer you do it, the more it wears on the tire, and the slower you're going to be at the end of the race. So I think right now everybody's kind of settled in and burning a few laps down, be easy on the tires, but maybe they're gambling on a yellow that'll close everybody up, save the tires for the end. It's hard to say right now, but with this few cars, I don't think I'd be gambling on a yellow.
So Brabham continuing to leg out his lead over Rafa Matos. It's over a second now with Paul Menard 2.3 back. And then a big gap has fallen back to that race for fourth position between David Patarik and Tommy Dreese. There they are coming up the hill to turn number 1.
And David Patarik and Tommy Dreese, they've been around a long time. They're very good drivers. I think they'll be respectful toward each other. But in the end, Tommy Dreese is going to do everything he can to get by David.
David from Canfield, Ohio, driving the Bird's Eye View Project Ford Mustang. Every mile he completes in Trans Am racing this season, he makes a donation to the Bird's Eye View Project, which is an organization of veterans and first responders who basically go out and take on extreme challenges to test themselves and raise money to support their peers. So David's choosing that as a charity to support with his racing this season.
I've known David for a long time. Super patriotic guy, loves his country. I've never seen a white car. It's always red, white, and blue, some kind of American flag on it. So something must have happened to his bodywork before this race for him to have a white car.
Well, David's had the white car all season, and what they've had is a season of difficulties. At Sebring, was in the mix for a podium spot, had an alternator failure. Car coasted to a stop off turn 7. At Road Atlanta, was in the fight for a podium spot again. Something pierced the front of the car, caught the oil cooler. Coasted to a stop on pit lane, trailing smoke. Then he had the engine problem here, so he's just looking to have a clean race. As you look at the front 3 now, and here's Paul Menard catching back up to those top 2 and beginning to put some pressure on Rafa Matos for second.
And it looks like they were pulling away from Paul Menard, but he just ran the fastest lap of the race, so he's definitely got some speed in that car. He's going to be a factor.
Paul driving the Pittsburgh paints. Menard's Ford Mustang for 3GT Racing. Paul, 2-time series champion the last 2 consecutive years, going for the 3-peat. He won this race a year ago and is looking for more.
He's putting a little pressure on Rafa right now, but this is an extremely tough track to pass on, especially when you have 2 pretty equal drivers like this. So, will he use the bumper to get by him, or will he not? That's going to be the question.
And Paul was talking with us in the paddock earlier today about how, the way that they judge incident responsibility and where you have to be to make that pass and get away with using that bumper a little bit is something to bear in mind when you're approaching that other car.
There's been a lot of rule changes over the years in Trans Am. It used to be if you hit somebody in the back bumper and spun him out, you had to go behind him wherever he ended up. And then if you had your front wheels equal to his front wheels and he spun out, that's just racing.
Simon Gregg had a left front tire problem and is on and off pit road, according to Ben Sissel. And so Gregg will rejoin the race. And there he is, just coming off the pit lane now as the leaders climb the hill. So difficulty early there for the second car out of the Dreese Motorsports stable, and the 2012 TA National Champion Simon Gregg back in the series full-time this year. First time, long time. With early trouble here at Sonoma.
Seems like Paul's content to stay behind Rafa right now, maybe to burn a few laps off. He started on sticker tires, so maybe it's just taking extra care, bringing those tires up to temperature real gradual.
So second place here.
Saw a little wiggle from Rafa in there.
Wow. Menard closing right up to the back bumper of Matos, under braking into turn 7.
Yeah, it looks like Rafa had a little bit of rear brake lock up in there and had a little wiggle going in there. Yeah, the big thing will be this turn 10, this fast right-hander is where you have to be fast right here. If you're fast there, you get a good run in at 11. That's the easiest place to pass. They look pretty equal going through there right now, though.
Love that camera angle because it really shows you that bump that the drivers hit right when they hit the braking zone.
Yeah, that bump is actually the marker you use for braking.
Check on the pit lane with Ben Sissel.
Right out of the tire, and then just coming in, bringing the car and the tire in, you can see it just wore it out. So that's why Simon Gregg had to come in, change his left front. They got him back out there, and he's back out there now. Because we know these Pirelli P0s, they don't wear out, do they, Boris?
No, they do not. Well, eventually they do, like all tires, but today it's cold, so they should be pretty good today.
Yeah, so trouble there for Simon, and a good look at the inside edge of that tire.
Paul Menard is getting pretty racy right now. I'd look for turn 7 here, where he was close to last time. Will he make a move? Not quite close enough.
Peeking. A look inside. Matos sees him coming. And new second place runners. Paul Menard is through to the number 2 spot. See that little water there on the exit of turn 7 also?
Yeah. Rafa was very respectful for that. I think he let him by right now, or he might have a problem.
And you know, I mean, look, you're the driver expert. I'm the talker, but you know, 100 miles on the one set of tires, and you got to take care of them. You've said a couple of times. So, you know, Rafa not running these cars every week might be either A, little too aggressive, or B, a little too conservative in managing the tires, just out of having plenty of experience, but not in these cars every week.
Right, and a TA2 car is completely different because, you know, you have 300 less horsepower. So you could be a lot more aggressive on the tires, where when he gets in these cars, you just really need to know how to wear them. So Paul Menard has a problem. His window net came down, so he's going to have to pit to put the window net in.
Oh,
I just found out.
Second place car.
Yeah.
And looking to see him come to the pit lane next time by. That's a safety issue.
A safety issue.
Those window nets are there for a reason, and have been there since an accident that caused them to be invented many years ago.
You know, in a TA2 car, the driver can get the window net up himself, but these cars are so wide, you can see the window, so how wide it is, you just can't reach it to get it in there.
What a tough break that is. So Paul Menard, after getting second place away from Rafa Matos, is going to have to give up that spot, go to pit lane, and then just hope for a yellow.
Yeah, he'll need a yellow
to close back up to the field.
Let's see if he comes in this time. He's on pit lane. Got to be very careful. This is a tough pit lane because the speed limit doesn't start until you get around that whole corner. And I've seen a lot of people wreck in this pit lane in the past. It's very tight.
And it's a slow pit road speed limit too, 40 miles an hour. So all the way through the long pit
once
lane.
You get there.
Yeah.
But the horseshoe, the 180, there's no speed limit. But it's very tight and slippery, dirty and dusty.
So Paul Menard falling off with the window net problem, putting Rafa Matos back to second. That'll put David Pintarik up to third, Tommy Dreese fourth. The leader in TA Cup is Jim Guthrie. He runs fifth overall, with Cole Moore sixth and Ken Twait seventh. There is the crew trying to fix the issue.
Looks like it fell way down in between the seat.
Yeah.
Tough to get at.
So as Matty Brabham heads up to turn number 7, Paul Menard still sits on the pit lane with the crew trying to get that thing fixed and buttoned up and keep it from happening again.
I don't see him. Looks like they might have a problem with the latch. Nope, they got it.
All right, there he goes. And next time they come by start finish, we'll be able to check the gap. But
Matty Brabham is just heading into turn 11 right now, so he's, you know, 3/4 of a lap ahead of Paul Menard. So he's going to need a yellow.
Yeah, that's tough. Well, and that's not going to help the championship picture either, with Brabham leading him. Menard second in points coming in.
For Paul, though, this is kind of a fun race because in the beginning he was worried about saving his tires, save everything, just do it nice and easy. But now it's go for broke. He just needs to drive every lap like it's qualifying.
All right, so all clear up front by a pretty good bit.
When watching Matty Brabham, I mean, he's been the class of the field almost every time he's gotten in one of these these cars the last couple of years. He's never had a full season, so this is a big year for him getting a full season with Chris Dyson Racing. And in my opinion, watching him over the years, he's probably one of the most underrated drivers I've seen. It seems like he should have had a bigger career because he's so good in everything he gets into, whether it's a P2 prototype or a Trans Am car or a Robbie Gordon truck at Long Beach. He's just he's a shoe, and he can drive anything.
Can drive anything for sure. Ben Sissel is down in the Paul Menard pit with more on what happened there.
Well, actually, I got the advice from another crew guy not to interview Tony Gentilozzi right now because he's pretty heated. But you can see they were one of the fastest cars out there. We're catching up to Matthew Brabham with just terrible luck. And they're down here scrambling, talking to Paul. Now, Paul always stays calm, but they're pretty heated down here in pit lane. Back to you guys up at the booth.
All right, Ben, thanks. So tough luck there, and Paul Menard has fallen. Just trying to check the time and the gap here. Well, we got to wait till he comes around the start-finish line to get the true interval back from first on back. Check on the TA Cup race lead. Jim Guthrie is out front, and he's running in 5th position overall. That's the Patrick Utt car. There's a race for 4th. David Pintarek and Tommy Dreese going up the hill. And the TA Cup lead is a pretty good one. And I thought that would be one of the better races of the day. Jim Guthrie, winner here a year ago, leading Cole Moore by 1.8 seconds. There's Guthrie. That other racing driver from Albuquerque, New Mexico, also in the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame, along with those guys named Unser.
Yep.
And Jim, former IndyCar winner at Phoenix. He's driven and raced everything, 2 wheels, 4 wheels. Big proponent of this TA Cup class, won the inaugural race for the series a year ago. Saw he and Cole Moore have a terrific fight for the win last race at Road Atlanta in TA Cup that Jim ended up taking back in the final laps. And here he is out in front again. The lead over Cole Moore, though, is only 1.8 seconds. Cole is driving a completely different car than he practiced all weekend. His car for TA Cup was having a fuel pressure issue, and they tracked it down, couldn't figure it out. So he's driving the car that his dad, John, was originally supposed to race. His dad, John, jumped into one of the Chris Evans race cars machines that Chris was supposed to drive. It's kind of been musical chairs all morning here with some of the TA Cup drivers, but there is the fight for the lead. That's Cole Moore in that red 27, and trying to track down Jim Guthrie, who's just in front of him on the racetrack.
Well, you were wrong, because it is going to be a good fight.
It is.
I originally thought he was way out in front. I didn't know he was in that car because he switched.
Yep. Yeah, so that is your TA Cup lead, and that's going to go right down to the checkered flag, I think, like it did a minute ago. Andy Lally, president of Trans Am, has stepped into the booth to join us. Just pop that button right there, Andy. Thank you. TA Cup is new to the National Series this year, but started a year ago in the Western Series, and it seems to be well received.
Come forward with this, and we gave it a shot sort of on the regional or mainly on the West Coast here, and it was very well received, and they wanted to do a national championship. So we're starting slow this year, or smaller this year, with just 6 of the 10 events that we're going to be doing that we'll have TA Cup at, 6 of the 12 eligible races and 10 events that we're doing. But it's putting on a good show, and I mean, Cole's doing a great job. This is tricky. Obviously, we saw Jim jump out to an early lead, and he is a great hole shot out of the box. Flag drops. He's always first guy straight to P1 on the board. But Cole, obviously, I mean, these cars are very similar from car to car to car. But Cole's getting used to, like you said, a car that his dad is driving all weekend, set up for his dad. Well, a little spinner at the top of 2 here.
That's David Kunicki from British Columbia in the Kahlberg Racing Dodge Challenger.
Flat left rear there, I think.
Yeah, there you go. One of the Western Series drivers. And that was in turn number 2, up the top of the hill.
Do you think Paul Menard is screaming debris on the track right now? We need a yellow, because I saw some chunks of rubber.
Yeah, hoping. He's hoping. It's the Western Series making its season debut here. Why does Trans Am have a Western Championship in addition to the National Championship?
We just have such a strong California and West Coast contingent, and we're trying to do our best to serve them with good quality events here. We actually cut it down an event this year and trying to figure out our 2027 schedule going forward. The better participation that we get from this, the easier it is for me to lobby for some more West Coast stuff. I love coming out here, visiting the West Coast and being out here and checking out. We've got great racetracks out here. So these guys, we give them their own separate division just because a lot of these guys, they have so many other jobs and so many other businesses and whatnot, they can't make it a full-time deal. So we gave them, we've got a whole West Coast division just for them. Great battle here, cutting through with Moore really getting to grips with this 27 car and figuring out the differences between his 99 and the 27. Now all over the back of Guthrie here.
Did you see the back end of that car wiggling off the carousel as he was trying to get the power down to get up alongside?
He's digging right now. He wants to pass.
Yeah, if you're new to Trans Am racing, Cole Moore's a 28-year-old from Granite Bay, California. He's been competing in the Trans Am Western Series. Last year finished 8th in the TA Cup Championship in that Western Series. He was the very first race winner in the TA Cup National Series. He took the checkered flag at Sebring in a great fight with Jim Guthrie and a couple other guys. He and Guthrie went again toe-to-toe at Road Atlanta also last race out. So keeping an eye on the TA Cup lead. Here's a race for the final step on the podium. David Pintarek, the white 57, and Tommy Dreesy, the black number 8. They had a bang-it-out fight for the last podium spot at Road Atlanta last race 6 weeks ago also.
We tend to get groups of drivers that keep landing in the same spot for a very similar fight here. It looks like R86 is going to make it to pit lane with that flat tire without getting in the way of anybody else here or causing a full course yellow here. That's a tough go around here. But Dreesy typically fires off a little bit slow and then he comes on late race here. So this is exactly where the point of the race where this gets exciting. And there's a lot of time left. There's 27 laps left to go in this thing, and that's a lot of corners on these Pirelli tires. So this is definitely going to shape up to be a pretty good one here.
And David and Tommy, they've been like this for 13 laps now. You know, no further than 4 car lengths apart. So something's going to happen between these two.
Usually does. It was like 5 laps to go, I think, at Road Atlanta when Tommy finally got by. It wasn't David. It was he and Adam Andretti had the great fight for the final podium spot. And there's the 86 of Kunicki. Finally got it back onto the pit lane with that flat tire. And we will stay with green flag conditions on the course. So you mentioned working on the 27 schedule. That's kind of top of mind right now for the Trans Am president.
It is. We're trying to get these schedules out in front of everybody as soon as we can here to just let them plan for future years, future races, get their logistics sorted out on the way, and also get them excited about the schedule. I can't take any credit for it, but coming into my first year last year with the 2025 schedule, we had the best schedule that Trans Am's ever had. Michael Printup and Lee had been, Michael Printup actually and Tony Pirelli had been working on that for a while and really landed us a solid schedule. I think we took 2025 and added Indianapolis to 2026, and that's really our only big change on the national schedule. And so I think that's one step better. Somebody gets to kiss the bricks this year, and for 2027 we're trying to add some even better events to that.
It'll be something we look forward to. Andy Lally, president of Trans Am, with us in the booth as we watch this continued great fight for the lead in TA Cup.
It's a really good fight. It's kind of a family affair with Cole. When you're out there racing, you don't really get to meet some of these guys sometime, but his father, John, is a really cool guy. We were talking to him yesterday. They both race motocross together, and they both race cars together, so they're a busy family.
And super passionate and supportive also. JM Environmental is partnering and sponsoring with us this weekend to help promote this event, and they're doing the double-double. Both father and son are doing both races on TA and TA2 here, and TA Cup, sorry. And it's great to see these guys come out and do so much, drive so much, and really help support the series.
Yeah, really, really cool family, and this guy has so much passion, John. He's just having a blast what he's doing, so it's neat to see.
We heard from John on our pre-race show and talked about the double-double. I said to Boris, wasn't it kind of an appropriate title for being in California?
Double-double.
If you know, you know.
In and out. You're either in or you're out.
Passionate, big supporter, excited to get in both races. The doubleheader. Let me ask you about that too, Andy. Why a doubleheader?
Some of the biggest asks that I had from teams was to help reduce travel cost. When I first came on board here in 2025, and so 2026, we looked at trying to do the same amount of races with less hotel days. Nothing's getting cheaper out there. Hotels aren't getting cheaper, rental cars aren't getting cheaper. As we all know, gas is certainly not getting cheaper. So instead of coming out to California and then maybe doing another long distance trip out west for 80% of our field is East Coast entrance, and this is the most expensive time we've ever had to come cross country here. Yeah. So we want to be cognizant of that and aware and help these guys try to reduce costs. So giving the taste of a doubleheader here, dipping our toe back in the water. Trans Am used to do that many years ago. They did it at the Detroit Grand Prix and a couple of other places during COVID. We were forced to do some doubleheaders here and there just to try to get a full season in. And it was, for the most part, pretty well received. And for us, it's a look at trying to help our teams get the amount of races in. Look at Paul Menard around the outside of 2. That's a tricky place to put a car, especially when it's a fast car like Cole Moore, as he's coming through after that window net fix to get back through the field and hope for a yellow here.
I think Paul currently has the fastest lap of the race, and he definitely is driving like every lap is qualifying right now, getting through the traffic, up to 7th overall now.
He had such a good battle here last year, and obviously knows Sonoma Raceway like the back of his hand. So this is it'll be interesting here if we can pack him up again and get him nose to tail. It'll be interesting to see what he's got for the Dyson gang here.
Fingers crossed as the fight for the TA Cup lead worked through some of the lap traffic as Colmore is caught behind one of the slower cars for the moment. Here comes Paul Menard through. We're trying to get through Jim Guthrie. It's a tricky part of the racetrack to try and do that.
Yeah, he's going to have to wait till turn 11, I think.
And this top-end speed differential between the Trans Am cars and the TA Cup cars is not massive. So it really becomes, what's the old saying, discretion being the better part of valor.
It's not often seen a lot with race car drivers in a hurry here. We've got quite a clog up going into turn 11 there. I'm watching a little bit off screen here, and as Matos has gained on the back of Brabham here for the lead, these guys have definitely turned this into a race for the lead. Matos has been basically learning this car every single session and getting stronger, and what better example can you have than Matt Brabham to have his data and have his bumper to kind of lead you around and get you sorted so that your first 50 miles you're learning, and the last 50 miles you try to take it to the teacher here.
But what he doesn't have is the experience on how much can I use the tire, how much can I abuse it, and that's something he's going to learn by fire.
Great point. Yeah, he could very well right now be feeling a little bit of that wiggle and wondering how dramatic that fall off is going to be, having never done a full stint.
And the fun part about the doubleheader is that knowledge he gains today, he can apply 24 hours from right now.
Yes.
Andy Lally, president of Trans Am, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
By the way, the 67 car there you're looking at, that is the third place runner in TA Cup. That's Phil Fogg Jr. from Oregon. He actually spun on the pace lap off camera.
He did.
Rejoined the tail end of the field, and here he is in a podium spot now and trying to get up and claw with Cole Moore and Jim Guthrie for one of those top spots.
And so his last lap was almost a second faster than Cole, so he's catching up.
Yeah, he's getting there for sure. Let's check down to pit road with Ben Sissel.
Yeah, you can see Kanicki came in. They had to change the left rear tire, but you can see that he's got contact because his canards are bent in. The crew's been working. They're trying to get this bracket because Allen, our pit lane official, is down here telling them they have to pin the hood. He's not letting them out there until they can get that hood secured. which is what he's supposed to do as a pit official. So these guys are working, trying to bend this aluminum, trying to get that hood in. They've got to have it in a few points or Allen will not release them. So what do we do here? If it's a doubleheader, they don't want to go out and hurt the car too much, but he wants to get points today. So what would you do in this situation, Boris? Up to you in the booth.
I would take the hood off and throw it over the wall and go. I don't think you need to have a hood by the rules.
And if you've ever been in a race car where the hood flies up over the windshield, that's not just a visibility issue. It does massive damage to a lot of things on that car. And you're far better off getting out there without the hood for the rest of this race than having that hood come loose on you.
The worst part about it is just it's hard to see if the hood's over the windshield. You just have to look out the side window, and that's a game over.
It's a challenge.
Now we have some traffic that could play a role in this with Rafa catching Matty right now. Oh, he was good. He let him right by.
So that's the fight for the lead. That's the gap up front. It's half a second between Matthew Brabham and Rafa Matos, first and second in the CD Racing Ford Mustangs. David Pintarek runs third, but he's a long way back. He's got Tommy Dreese right with him in fourth, and now Paul Menard has moved up to fifth overall in the running order after the unscheduled pit stop earlier for the window net that came down. Paul, though, is still 16 seconds behind the Dreese-Pintarek fight. And there's your TA Cup lead. Jim Guthrie in the white 62 and Cole Moore in the red 27.
And they had a little bit of a gap after they were going through the traffic, and now he's caught back up, Cole. So he's clearly a little faster right now than Jim. So like Formula One, do you think there's team orders right now for Rafa? Are they saying just stay in line?
Well, since Matt Brabham is the guy running for the championship in Trans Am, whether it's team orders or not, if you're Rafa, you're like, okay, I'm doing okay to ride here for a little while, right?
But second place is good points for him. I'll take the win. That's what
not pictured on television at the moment, Boris's sly smile while he makes that remark. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Ken Thwaites has come to pit road in his TA Cup car. And any pit stop in a Trans Am race is an unscheduled stop in the 100-mile sprint. So that's unfortunate for Ken in the Franklin Road apparel machine. And we'll get a follow-up there on what's happened to that car. There it is.
It looks like they're having a rear end problem, maybe a diff or an axle. When they jack it up and spin the wheels like that, that's usually game over.
All right. So tough luck there for Thwaites. And the beginning of his doubleheader weekend here at Sonoma. There's your race lead. First and second. As we have a car off or a local yellow up in turns 3 and 4.
Oh, it's Pintarek.
Yeah, David Pintarek.
Was there help? Or did he just make a mistake?
Good question. But that fight for the final step on the podium has just evaporated. So 20 laps are down and 20 laps to go. We're halfway through our Trans Am Series by Pirelli race at Sonoma, side by side for the race lead in TA Cup.
A little early to be blocking the inside right now, so he has to be looking in his mirrors a lot right now at Cole. Definitely putting the pressure on.
They're at 7 now. They work their way down the S's.
And this lap car is going to definitely play a role right here.
That is the David Pintarek car just in front of them that just spun. Now that's a Trans Am car, so unless he's damaged those tires in the spin, he should get away from them.
It looks like Matty's pulling away again a little bit. Maybe Rafa's using up on his tires.
And just in front of those race leaders comes that TA Cup fight for the lead. To start finish now. So Pintarek just ahead of Guthrie and Moore.
Yeah, so Ken Thwaites is in the pits because he lost the left rear axle. And what you don't know at home, when these cars break an axle, it's one-wheel drive, and they're impossible to drive. It just wants to spin out every time you hit the gas.
All right, so this is interesting here, right? The fight for the lead in TA Cup, but a Trans Am car in front of them just coming off of a spin. David Pintarek in the 57, Jim Guthrie in the white 62, Cole Moore in the red 27. The second and third cars there are the race lead in the TA Cup class.
It's going to get very busy into turn 7 right now.
and right behind them are the top 2 overall in the race coming up on them. Matt Brabham and Rafa Matos. Here's Cole Moore.
But Cole Moore keeps blocking the inside. Oh, did not see him.
97 car.
No
That's
contact.
the SGT leader, Chris Coffey. And faster cars coming through.
Rafa really took a beating on that one. Stuck behind that car through the S's. He's going to have to follow him all the way down through. Lost a lot of time.
Momentary debris flag out in that part of the racetrack. The debris has blown off from the race course. The surface condition flag removed by the corner workers. And we stay under the green flag here as the leaders come up to lap. The Trans Am leaders come up to the back end of the fight for the lead in TA Cup.
And Dave is doing his best not to get lapped by the overall leader, by Matty Brabham. So he's definitely going to be in the mix here with these 2 TAC cars. Both sets of leaders now, nose to tail.
Just joining us, David Pintarek had an engine problem yesterday. Lost a lot of time, never made a qualifying lap. He was fighting with Tommy Dreesy. For the final step on the Trans Am podium, and then spun around up in turn number 4.
This is going to get interesting to get this sorted out, because clearly the TAC cars are a little faster than David, but they can't quite get by him. Where they're faster, he's slower, and when he's faster, they're slower.
Now, can the overall race leader right there, 16, Matthew Brabham, create an opening for Cole Moore to get by Jim Guthrie?
Or create an opening for Rafa to get by them all.
Down the hill through the S's they come. And there, Rafa closing right up on the back of Matthew Brabham in this traffic as they come down the hill to turn 11. Matthew Brabham is going to find a look to the inside. How deep he went on the brakes there.
He went deep. But these TAC cars are fast. I mean, they got a lot of motor, good acceleration. Is Rafa going to be able to get by?
Oh boy, this will be fun going up the hill. Cole Moore backs away and allows the top 2 overall in the race to go through. Ben Sissel is down in the pit lane with our most recent driver to have problems.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Alan. I was talking to Chris Rom. Chris was saying that it may not be the axles, it may be the third member. Is that in the differential, Chris?
Yeah.
So do you think when he goes back out, will everything be okay, or are you just having him pull it back in?
We're going to go back out and just see. We're just going to try it.
Well, Boris, we all know how mechanically minded you are, so you're going to have to explain to the audience what the third member is. Back to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, basically you got to have 2 wheels driving this car, and it's a locker. So when you lift off the gas, 1 wheel unlocks, and that helps the car turn. But when you accelerate, you got to have both wheels turning, or the car's going to want to spin out. The way he was turning the wheel there, it looked like it was fixed.
And of course, remember, this is the first of a doubleheader weekend, so send it back out for a lap or 2 and make sure it's fixed before tomorrow's second 100-mile go for the Trans Am Series by Pirelli here.
So they both got by Cole, but now they got to get by Jim Guthrie. And it looks like, Rafa's right on the inside. Going to be pretty tricky here.
Same spot on the racetrack.
I think Jim Guthrie was heads up, let the leaders by.
Same spot on the racetrack where Brabham went deep on the brakes last lap to get by Cole Moore. Did it again there to get by Jim Guthrie.
And everything worked out. They're all nose to tail again, but they're in the right order now. So now the real question is when they catch up to David Pintarek, it's going to be tricky because he's not going to want to lose that lap.
That's Pintarek in the white machine, that white Ford Mustang just ahead of the top 2.
Trying to stay on the lead lap. Paul Menard's still back there just praying for a yellow.
There's a lot of racing left if he can find that yellow flag to try and close back in and make something out of this and have a shot at it.
And Paul Menard's catching up. I mean, he's the fastest car on the track right now with the fastest lap of the day so far. So he could play a role if he gets a yellow.
So here's your leader, Brabham, in the 16 with second place. Matos in the 20.
See that little wiggle of Rafa coming off the corner? And David was a gentleman, let him by.
When it's not your day.
It's not your day.
Let those racing for the win have at it.
Yeah, he's been around long enough to know that.
Yeah. All right, so there's the rundown left side of your screen. It's Brabham, Matos, Dreesy, Menard, and Pinteric, the top 5 in Trans Am and top 5 overall. The great fight for the lead in TA Cup continues. 6th and 7th overall, Jim Guthrie and Cole Moore. You've got John Moore running now up in 8th position. Chris Coffey leads SGT. He's 9th overall. Simon Gregg, who had the flat tire. Ooh, up the hill we go.
Ooh, that was close.
That was Jim Guthrie.
15 laps to go. Jim Guthrie finally got by. Now Cole really going to have to push to get by David Pinteric.
Jim Guthrie saying, I need to clear you to keep this this guy behind me. And Pinteric will see Cole Moore coming down the hill.
Yeah.
And let him through.
Yeah. He's a professional. He let both leaders through. But, you know, now Jim has that little extra gap right now like he had, and we'll see if Cole can close back up again.
I bet he will.
Yeah. It seems like Cole's a little faster. He's just having a hard time getting by.
A look at Rafa Matos, the 3-time TA2 champion. He's done some testing for Chris Dyson's racing, and he's slowing. He's slowing off turn 7. Second place is slowing off turn 7.
Yeah, it looks like he must have a problem. Now, is this going to cause a full course yellow when he get back to the pits? Right now, Paul Menard's hoping he just pulls over.
He's downhill, which is a plus for trying to get back to the pit lane, but this is a tough spot on the racetrack.
Doesn't look like he's under power. It's hard to tell.
Yeah. So what a tough break. Chris Dyson scheduled to drive this car this weekend, the team owner, and one of the all-time leading race winners in Trans Am competition. But last minute, gave Rafa Matos a call and said he was under the weather, and could Rafa jump into that 20 car for the weekend? He did, and qualified second, has been in second all race long. He's coasting down the hill now, still not clear of the race course in turn number 10. And is he going to make it back to the pit lane at his very reduced speed, or will we see a full course yellow?
Doesn't look like he's under power.
Moving drivers left. I wonder if he's going to turn off into the infield here just past the end of the retaining wall.
It looks like he's...
Because his race team would want this to stay green, right? For Matt Brabham.
Yes, for sure.
He has not turned off where he had the opportunity to.
That's going to cause a yellow.
And is turning in inside turn 11 now. But I don't know that that's going to be far enough off the race course to help. So all of this, while Paul Menard continues to charge and try and recover from the unscheduled pit stop earlier at lap 5 for the window net being down. Paul has now moved up to second, getting around Tommy Dreesy, and continues to charge. Problem is, he's still 3/4 of a lap behind Matt Brabham.
And he still has a minute to make up with only 13 laps remaining. I don't think that's possible without a full course yellow.
So 20 car has stopped inside of turn 11. And the 67 TA Cup car of Phil Fogg Jr. has also stopped on the race course, but he's in a safe area behind the wall. Driver's right at turn 12. So that won't be the issue. It's just a matter of whether they deem the 20 car to be in an okay spot or not. There is Rafa Matos just off the racing line.
I don't think that's a safe place.
Inside turn 11.
All right. Let's see. Now in TAC, the father and son, second and third. Cole and John.
So report up from pit lane from Ben is that Matos did indeed lose power in the 20 machine up in turn 7, and has coasted all the way down the hill to where he sits just off the racing line there in turn number 11.
I'm sure Paul Menard's on the radio right now saying that car is in a bad spot.
Patrick Gutt's in a bad spot. He is spun up top of the hill at turn number 7.
See if you can get it refired. You got it refired.
Next Gen driver profile subject in our pre-race show. And
he's off.
And has managed to keep going. And so we'll get the green flag back out in that part of the course.
It's funny how there's a lot of water up there. I don't know where that came from.
That's the high part of the course, so it looks like it's coming down from the hills above there.
Right.
So still watching this great fight for the TA Cup lead between Jim Guthrie and Cole Moore.
And Cole Moore, as he's closed back up where he had that little gap before after they were going through traffic. He's clearly a little faster.
So further word from Ben on the pit lane is a gearbox or differential problem for Rafa Matos. So no drive.
It's funny, the Riley cars have had a lot of drive shaft problems this year.
Here we go, side by side again up the hill for the TA Cup lead. Guthrie's got the preferred line, but Cole Moore driving it in
on
deep
the outside.
on the outside. Just a little too deep.
Well, let's see if he can get a good run through 10. It should be interesting in turn 11 now. It looks like he's really trying.
Is he close enough to make the lunge under braking as they come down the hill?
Jim's just a little better down the S's in 8A.
Moore looking inside.
Oh!
To the quarter panel, but not far enough inside. Forces Guthrie wide, though.
He pulled it off.
And the TA Cup lead changes. Finally, Cole Moore, with a determined drive, finally gets around Jim Guthrie and will have the new lead, will be the new leader with 11 laps to go.
But Cole's car looks really good off turn 2. Normally late in the race you get a lot of wheel spin and a lot of looseness coming off a tube that's kind of off camber, but his car just looks really steady and stable.
See if he's able to drive away here and get a little comfort on Jim Guthrie.
Every time in traffic they had that little bit of separation, he was always able to close up on him, so you would think he should be able to pull away now. And it looks like he's easing away a little bit. Jim's really good in the S's, though.
Yeah, if I'm remembering correctly, the Road Atlanta race, and I'm always willing to admit I can be misremembering, but at one point, Jim Guthrie lost the lead to Cole Moore in that race and then got it back in the final laps. And we've still got 10 laps plus of racing left to go.
Biggest thing in racing is it's never over till it's over.
Yeah.
So you cross that checker flag.
There's the SGT leader, Chris Coffey, 38-year-old from Dallas, Texas, the Traffic Graphics NAI Racing GTEE Ferrari 458 Challenge, two-time GT champion in Trans Am Racing, moving up to the SGT class in 2026. Chris, the all-time leading winner in GT class racing in the Trans Am competition. Hearing from some of the corner workers that are spotting around the course that maybe a couple of drops of rain in turn 10.
That could make things interesting.
Interesting.
You don't want to be coming down in turn 10 on slicks with water on the track.
I'm just talking about Chris Coffey for just a minute. Part of his business is preparing Ferrari Challenge race cars and other racing cars for other people to compete in. Driver coaching as well. But Chris, the SGT national championship leader and the class leader today here at Sonoma, and he's running in 8th overall. And if you're new to Trans Am Racing, Super GT are high-performance, production-based cars with some aerodynamic modifications and some moderate electronic driver aids. That, remember, the Trans Am cars, no driver aids, no ABS, no traction control, and just a little bit here. It's a ladder system as a way for drivers to build up to running those full-bore 900 horsepower Trans Am cars.
And in racing these days, there's not many cars out there racing anywhere in the world that are 900 horsepower. So it's a pretty unique series.
Yeah, and again, a well-designed system to build up. After SGT is XGT, the extreme GT cars, and then you get into the TA Cup and the Trans Am cars at the higher end of the horsepower scale in this series. So inside of 10 laps to go, Matthew Brabham has a big lead. There he is, your race leader, on Paul Menard, who's back up the second spot, but is 3/4 of a lap down to Brabham.
a second and a half faster that lap, but there's not enough laps to make that up right now. He needs that yellow.
Yeah, you didn't even have to think twice in calculating that.
No, even I can figure that out.
Didn't have to carry the one.
No.
Tommy Greasy runs third. Cole Moore, the TA Cup leader, is fourth. Jim Guthrie, second in TA Cup, is fifth. David Pintarik runs sixth. John Moore has the third podium spot in TA Cup in seventh for the moment. Then our SGT leader, Chris Coffey. Simon Gregg, after the flat tire, runs in ninth position overall. Patrick Hutt, second in SGT and 10th overall on the racetrack.
You know, the last lap, Cole just set the fastest lap for TAC, and it was, you know, the second fastest lap of the race, you know, in front of Paul Menard, who was quicker.
Cole Moore from Granite Bay, California, and 28 years old. You and I had a conversation with both he and his dad at the same time yesterday. Talk about a family that just loves Trans Am racing. Their other love that they still participate in?
Motocross.
Motocross, two-wheel racing also.
Yeah, and tonight we're going to go to their barbecue to watch the Supercross. Had some steaks.
And Cole Moore and John Moore. John, the president of Jam Environmental, sponsor of this weekend's Jam Environmental doubleheader here at Sonoma Raceway for the Trans Am Series by Pirelli and the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series.
So Matty, he's got a big lead right now, and he's probably just really taking care of his car because they have a race tomorrow. So I'm sure he's been really nice to the gearbox, nice to everything, so the guys don't have too much work to do. But I'm sure he's thinking, he was hoping for a more exciting race right now. It would have been a little fun to have Paul Menard and Rafa Matos battling for the lead.
By the way, our statistician Scott Conway confirming that Jim Guthrie did retake the lead at Road Atlanta with 1.5 laps to go in TA Cup. Thank you, Scott. I knew I wasn't misremembering, but I had to throw that asterisk in there just in case. Doing this off the cuff, you know.
The last lap he was almost a second slower than Cole, so I don't know if that's going to happen this time, but you never know.
Yeah, might have used it up a little bit just trying to stay in front.
Yeah, because now there's a 2.6 second gap, so he's pulled out a little bit.
There is Paul Menard coming off turn number 11 to the start-finish line.
So with Paul right now with 8 laps to go, do you think they're telling him, just bring it home, we got tomorrow, go easier on the car, because we have another race tomorrow, where normally they do a lot of maintenance in between races on these cars, and it doesn't seem possible unless he got the yellow to have a chance at the win.
Well, let's find out what they're telling him. Ben Sissel is in the 3GT Racing pit.
Thank you. I'm down here with Tony Gentilozzi with 3GT. Tony, what's Paul saying on the radio?
Says the car is very good. Unfortunately, a little hiccup at the beginning there, and we were hoping to get a yellow from Rafa bowing out. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but the car is very good. Looks like this is where we're going to be.
Coming in second, good for points, but it's a double header, so nothing to tear up the car either.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I thought we had a much faster car than it's showing now. We'll see again in the second race.
Well, you can see the moods are down here, but back up to you guys in the booth.
Yeah, you're always as good as your last race, and the result that you want, especially this team, its standards are high. The result they want is the top step on the podium. And a lot of work been done since Road Atlanta, taking advantage of the 6-week gap between races to try and close the gap to what has been the dominant car of the season so far, which is Matt Brabham in the CD Racing 16.
But in the beginning of the race, it really looked like they had a fast car and a chance to win the race. And to have something like a window net take them out of it is very disheartening, and I'm sure they're not happy about that. But, you know, anything can happen in racing. It just goes to show you.
So let's follow up on the topic you started to touch on a minute ago. This is a unique doubleheader weekend. We'll have 2 of them this season in the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. A lot, even though they're 100-mile races, a lot goes into turning these cars over from a Saturday 100-miler to a Sunday 100-miler.
You know, it's funny, as a driver, these guys work on the cars until it's time to load them in the trailer and go to the race. They're preparing and doing the maintenance on it. But then they have a double race weekend, and they're going to get this done in about 6 hours after the race. So,
yeah,
you know, but it's a lot easier if the driver doesn't do a lot of damage in the race. And right now, I think that has to be in their mindset. All right, today's today. There's nothing more we can do. Let's save everything for tomorrow and really put our effort into that.
And let's talk about this guy up front with the huge lead, Matthew Brabham in this CD Racing 16. Matt was kind of like the fill-in driver for Chris Dyson over the last couple of years, and every time we got in the car, he was a contender to win if he wasn't winning. His winning percentage in this car in Trans Am racing is bonkers. He has won 55.5% of his starts in this car in Trans Am.
Yeah, I remember in the years back racing his father, and his father was amazing. You know, in that Nissan GTP car, he was something. And Matty did not fall from the tree. I mean, everything he gets in, he's fast. You know, he's just never gotten that break he's needed until this year.
Jumping in as the full-time driver, named just before the preseason test at Sebring as the full-time driver of this car this year. Chris Dyson cutting back due to business commitments to be a part-time racer. And, you know, and Matthew hasn't disappointed. Although he got passed on the opening lap, he got passed back by the end of the opening lap. He's led every lap this season. He's won every pole. He's led every lap. And even though there are still 5 laps to go in this race, he's looking good.
He's in total control right now. I think he's just cruising, probably driving, you know, 70-80%. I mean, his last lap time was a 32.6. And for him, he could do that with his eyes closed. Paul Menard is still running hard. You know, his last lap was a 30.7, so almost 2 seconds difference. So I think Matty's they probably told him, just bring it home, be nice to the car, and we'll get ready for tomorrow.
So after winning the season-ending race at the Circuit of the Americas to end the 25 season, he's won at Sebring and Road Atlanta to open 2026. He's looking for a 4th consecutive win today. The record, he's still got a few more to go to try and get the all-time record, which is Tommy Kendall, who won like 9 in a row at one point.
Yeah, when he was in that all-sport car, I was his teammate then, and he was just, you know, he was an unbelievable driver. And the team, the chemistry, Dan Binks, his crew chief, they all worked as one. And Tommy was just an amazing driver. You know, it would have been interesting to see what would have happened to his career if he didn't get hurt in that GTP car at Watkins Glen.
Yeah.
Still a great guy, still fast today. We did a celebrity race a couple weeks ago, had a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, he'll always be. Everyone's always going to, you know, compare themselves to him in this series.
And so, even though the great run that Matty Brabham is on, he's almost got to double it to catch that Tommy Kendall streak, which tells you how extraordinary it was with Kendall and that crew back at that time.
Yeah, I was there, and that was in the heyday of Trans Am when it was super competitive, and it was neat to see. Disappointing because you were getting beat by him, but it was neat to see.
So this the first of the double also. And later on today, from here at Sonoma Raceway, we'll have the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series out on course. We'll have it live for you at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific here on Racing America, racingamerica.tv, the Go Trans Am YouTube channel. Let's look ahead to that race just a little bit. A young driver, 18 years old, Elio Meza, doing in TA2 what Matt Brabham is doing in Trans Am. Now, those cars, technically, they're all tight together. And here's a kid that's basically led just about every lap this season and won every race so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a spec class because the chassis are pretty regulated. And it's a huge field. There's 36 cars. There's 15-year-olds, 18-year-olds, these young guns that have, you know, come from go-karting and simulators that are amazing, as well as you have the veterans like Rafa Matos in it. So it's always exciting, and man, you never know what's going to happen. But this kid, he's definitely he's just burning up the track in Meza.
Got a group of competitors right on his back bumper though in qualifying yesterday, and so again 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific time. The Q3 Architecture TA2 Series coming up live here on Racing America. That is this afternoon.
Since it's a double-double, do we get in and out for lunch? Every time you say that,
I know, you get hungry, I know. I've been hanging around with you for a few days now, and I know when it's mealtime for Boris, for sure.
I'm a creature of habit.
Accelerate your career in motorsports and start the search for your next opportunity. Visit racerjobs.com and view open job positions across the racing industry. Or if you have a position to fill, post your job and get access to tens of thousands of applicants across the Racer Jobs platform to help find the right candidate for your job. Racerjobs.com, a racing marketplace built and managed by racers. So watching Paul Menard in the second place Pittsburgh Paints Menard's Ford Mustang for 3GT Racing come around and click off a lap. 3 laps to go for Menard.
I think every lap he goes by Rafa, he's like, couldn't you have just stopped on the track and give me a chance?
He's a minute 1 behind Matthew Brabham. And again, story of this race with Menard right on the back bumper of the CD Racing duo of Brabham and Matos in the opening laps. Lap 5 into the race, the window net came down on the left side of that car. Menard had to come to pit road. Was able to stay on the lead lap, but lost almost a full lap to the race lead. And without that full course yellow, has been playing catch up ever since.
Yeah, that's just bad luck, unfortunate. You know, something else you told me about Jim Guthrie, I mean, he's only 1.7 seconds behind, so I guess there still is a chance he could catch pole.
There's always a chance in the last laps, and if Cole Moore should run up against lap traffic or one of the Trans Am cars gets in the mix to try and overtake him, that could mix things up there as well.
And Matty's coming up behind, I think, Simon Gregg right now. He's going to take it real cautious. He's got such a big lead.
Only makes sense. There's Simon in the 59 machine, and Brabham will look to his inside off the carousel and head up the hill to turn number 7. Coming back around to see the white flag next time by.
You know, it's funny. I mean, in racing, to really win races, you need 3 things. You need the team, the car, and the driver. And Matty has all that this year, so, and he has taken full advantage of it with all his results and all his wins.
Yeah, you go by the paddock stall of the Chris Dyson Racing team, and you talk to the crew, and you look at the cars, and you just walk away going, you know, okay.
And that crew has been together for 20-plus years.
Yeah.
You know, they've worked, they know what everybody's thinking, and they work together. It's just a well-oiled machine. And watching Matty, I mean, he doesn't slide, car's not loose. It's just so stable, and he's just so in control of the whole thing. Makes it look easy.
And we'll take the white flag and head up the hill to turn number 1 on the final lap of race number 1 of our Trans Am Series by Pirelli doubleheader weekend at Sonoma. Brabham well out in front by a minute over Paul Menard. Tommy Dreese with a big gap in third, so the Trans Am podium spots not in the contest. We'll keep an eye after we follow our leader across on the TA Cup race to the finish as well, and see if Jim Guthrie's able to close any ground on Cole Moore. For now, though, it's all pretty stable, the gap between those two, at about 2.5 seconds between Cole Moore and Guthrie.
You don't see the normal fender banging that you normally see at the end of these races, and I think that's the only reason is because they have a race tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow will be a little more exciting.
And I'll be curious with the younger average age of the field in TA2, if that holds true later this afternoon.
I don't think that's going to hold true in the TA2 race. That's like a pack of Doberman pinchers with hand grenades in their mouths. They can't help themselves.
Well, Matty Brabham, 32 years old, lives in Indianapolis now. This is his 19th Trans Am Series start, and he's about to score his 11th win. It'll be his first at Sonoma in his first try at this racetrack from start to finish. Checkered flag is up, and continuing his hot streak with his 4th win in a row, Matthew Brabham wins at Sonoma. Another dominant performance for Brabham and the CD Racing team. He's going to keep the good times rolling in 2026 with a perfect performance once again today. What makes me look forward to tomorrow already is the what ifs. What if Paul Menard hadn't had that window net problem come down as Cole Moore and Jim Guthrie cross the line? Cole Moore will be your TA Cup winner. Here comes Guthrie for the second step on the podium.
And don't forget about Rafa. What if he didn't break?
Right.
You know, they were shaping up to be a really good race for the win.
Yeah, and there's Cole Moore and Jim Guthrie with an acknowledgement of what a great race they had back and forth.
I mean, that was a great race. They had to both be laughing.
Yeah, I think
running through traffic like they were.
It was the show for sure. And again, what gets me looking forward to tomorrow is, okay, what if Paul Menard had gotten that full course yellow, or what if that window net hadn't come down? Looked like he had the pace to hang with those two cars in front of him, and how it might have turned out over the course of 100 miles, I guess we'll find out tomorrow.
And they have to be excited because the first couple races, it looked like they were about a half a second off. And now it looks like they're right there on speed. So it should be a who's going to win that race tomorrow.
So the first of two this weekend at Sonoma for the Trans Am Series by Pirelli in the books. We'll have the victory podium coming up shortly. It'll be a familiar look. Matthew Brabham on the top step of the podium. Colmore wins TA Cup. SGT is Chris Coffey, your winner. And we'll have a look at our winner and hear from him in just a couple of minutes when we come back to California Wine Country.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy to make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust Next Gen to protect your car every day. Find Next Gen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts delivers strength, precision, and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
JM Environmental Incorporated, Northern California's leader in demolition, hazardous materials remediation, and abatement since 1994. Performance, progress, service accelerated. On the job site and on the track. JM Environmental, proudly powering JM Racing. Proudly supporting Trans Am and Racing America.
For the Trans Am Series by Pirelli, race one in the books, and it was Matthew Brabham once again powering his way to the head of the Trans Am field. Lost the lead briefly on the first lap, but got it back before the start-finish line, so officially he'll lead all the laps again in this one, and he'll win by 1 minute and 1 seconds over Paul Menard. Menard with the window net problem back on lap 5 that necessitated a long pit stop. Tommy Dreese is going to get the final step on the podium. There's TA Cup, that great fight for the TA Cup class win. 4th overall for Colmore over Jim Guthrie. John Moore will get the 3rd step on the TA Cup podium. And it'll be Chris Coffey as the SGT winner over Patrick Utt in race 1 at Sonoma. Look at the rest of the running order. Rafa Matos falling out with 15 laps to go. And a couple of the other drivers that had difficulties in the course of our 100-mile sprint. So they're getting everybody back and gathered up in the podium area. We'll look ahead again. 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific this afternoon. The Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series is live for their 100-mile sprint at Sonoma Raceway, and it's Elio Meza on pole position for that one after qualifying yesterday afternoon, as he tries to continue a consecutive win streak to start this season. It's a pretty setting.
Unbelievable. I keep thinking Julie Andrews is going to be singing Sound of Music.
Well, you know, I didn't want to sound corny, but the original opening that I wrote for the show and then I changed it was "The hills are alive with the sound of race cars." And they've been thundering today, and they've thundered their way all the way to the podium. And here's Ben Sissel.
Well, thank you so much. I'm down here at Jim Weed Winner's Circle with our Jim Weed winner here, Matt Brabham. And I think if we're doing the math, you're somewhere at 60% of your Trans Am races you've won. That's got to feel good. How are you feeling?
Yeah, pretty good. Obviously, I got a little bit to go in terms of consecutive wins to get on my dad's level. So shout out to Mom and Dad at home. Hope Mom's feeling better. And yeah, I mean, it's going to take a little bit to get back to that. I know I got close in Pro Mazda all those years ago with matching the record of Dad's consecutive wins. So cheers to those guys and my family, my wife Kim and Brumby at home. But yeah, I mean, the Jim Weed car, the guys at Jim Weed, everyone at Chris Dyson Racing done a great job. It's great having Rafa with us this weekend. He was feisty in the beginning, and it's a lot of fun. So
this is the man right here, full wheel man.
So big shout out to Chris Dyson. I mean, he obviously is the main reason we're all here racing this weekend, and cannot be honored enough to race for his race team, and obviously Rob Dyson, everyone. A lot of history, and this track, Jim Weed, is kind of the local track for Jim Weed, so thank you so much for the support, and what a race. It was awesome.
I love it. I love it. And we heard a little words of encouragement there from Vince with Chris Dyson Racing. And Chris, if you're watching at home, unbelievable here at Jim Weed Winner's Circle. JM, title sponsor of the event. The JM car comes in at the front. It says John Moore, but Cole Moore on the top. How was your race?
Oh, man, I don't even know what to say. I just got to thank my dad for letting me drive his car. We were having some crazy fuel problems, so him and Chris Evans for doing the whole switch. The race was insane. I mean, Jim is the hardest guy to pass in the world. I don't know what the deal is, but it's his IndyCar, history. He knows how to drive that thing, but just was persistent, and we made it to the front.
Man, as a dad, what is your deal? You give your kid the winning car. John, what happened there?
How about this cowboy? He's a handsome cat, and boy, he can wheel a race car, can he?
Yeah, unbelievable.
I was like, holy. I didn't see it. He was too far in front of me, but when I heard he was in first, I knew exactly what went down, and I was like, that away, baby. Love you.
It was the fight to watch between Jim Guthrie and Cole Moore. And John, thank you so much. We love having JM here with us. And we're about to do a Jim Weed Winner's Circle here, but Alan, back up to you in the booth.
Ben, thank you. So the victory podium coming up as they gather the various class podium celebrants and get ready to pop the cork on just one of 4 feature races here this weekend. TA2 later today, and we'll see the Trans Am Series cars by Pirelli again tomorrow as part of the JM Environmental doubleheader weekend at Sonoma. More to come from the racetrack in just a minute. When we come back on Racing America, we'll wrap up today and look ahead to this afternoon's Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series event.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy to make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust Next Gen to protect your car every day. Find Next Gen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts delivers strength, precision, and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
JM Environmental Incorporated, Northern California's leader in demolition, hazardous materials remediation, and abatement since 1994. Performance, progress, service accelerated. On the job site and on the track. JM Environmental, proudly powering JM Racing, proudly supporting Trans Am and Racing America.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
And a second to tell you a little bit more about Racing America if you're joining us for the first time. We've got all kinds of things for you to check out. Your favorite racing news, grassroots live streams from across the country, behind-the-scenes NASCAR Cup team content, and, of course, Trans Am and TA2 Racing. Log on to racingamerica.com and figure it all out. racingamerica.com. Proud to be the home of the Trans Am Series and the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series. And we've just finished the first of our daily doubleheader and the beginning of our weekend double-double here at Sonoma Raceway as they get ready for the podium ceremony down trackside. A look back at today's opening round of the weekend here and the third race of the season for the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. Had the Chris Dyson Racing cars starting on the front row. Matthew Brabham, green striped car. Rafa Matos subbing for Chris Dyson here along with him. And Paul Menard was right there with him as well. Good fight in the pack for the third position between David Pintarek and Tommy Dreese. Really, the key moment of the race was when the window net came down on the Paul Menard car and took him out of the fight.
And it didn't just come down; it came out of the net and went under the seat. So they had to get it from under the seat and then thread it through all the little loops to get it all back in, and it took a long time.
Yeah, the metal bar that has the buckle that holds the window net in place came out, and they had to find it inside the car, and so that's what took Paul Menard out of things. Made a nice charge back to get second spot. Great fight for the TA Cup win all race long. 62 Jim Guthrie, 27 Cole Moore, with Moore coming out on top. And in the end, it was Matthew Brabham leading all of the laps to score the win over Paul Menard and Tommy Dreese. Cole Moore, Jim Guthrie, and John Moore, the TA Cup winners. Chris Coffey wins in SGT. If you'd like to watch the full podium ceremony, go to the Go Trans Am YouTube site, or racingamerica.tv to have the full podium ceremony for you coming up. For now, here, we're going to get ready for the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series race later on this afternoon, 4 Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific time, here on Racing America. And on behalf of Ben Sissel, Boris Said, and our entire production crew here at Sonoma Raceway, Alan Bestwick, thanks for joining us for this one. And come on back, 4 Eastern time, 1 Pacific, for the first of two this weekend for the TA2 Series from here at Sonoma Raceway.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of Racing America. We hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
All right, come on, Sonoma, let's get loud. That was a very good first of 4 races here this week. I like this crew over here. You guys need to get up front. Here we are at Jim Weed Winner's Circle. We've got Derek and Tyler Wade with U.S. Safety Solutions. They're going to be handing out the trophies. Big round of applause for them. Tyler runs with us, a very fast driver in our Junior Formula Championship. He was just with us at NOLA. Tyler, awesome to have you up here with us. We're going to start with Super GT. Second place, one of my good friends in the paddock. He is now first in Western, but second in Super GT. Let's hear it for Patrick Utt in his Race Quip TA2 car. Come on now, get loud, Sonoma. He and his brother have a lot of history here. So Patrick right up here. And then first place in Super GT, our 2-time champion. Let's hear it. Chris Coffey in that beautiful Ferrari. Nice. I don't think Tyler wants to give up that trophy, Chris. There we go. Nice. How about that? All right, Patrick. Man, This has to feel good. You've been on the podium every race this season.
Yeah, it is, but I got nothing for this guy yet, but I'm working on it. But I'm just glad I made some laps today. We've been working on the car all weekend. I haven't made a full session yet.
Nice. Well, you made a full session just now. We got to like that. All right, Chris. Give him the nature boy here. Let's hear it. Woo! Nice. How about that? All right, Coffee, take the mic. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, that was a pretty awesome race. I mean, the start of the race, I just tried to see how far I could push the car up front, but I didn't want to ruin the TA Cup guys' race, and my back started tightening up real bad. It was brutal for the middle of the race, but I just let those guys, I tried to let all of them go by me so they could have their race, and after my back stopped seizing on me, I pushed a little bit in the middle of the race and just had a fantastic time. Did my fastest lap this weekend in the race on old tires, so I'm pretty happy with that. I want to thank Colin Cohen. Without him, I couldn't be here. My wife, Morgan, my son, Sam, my crew, Xavier and Alex. Without any of them, I might as well not even come.
I love it. How about that? Chris Coffey up top. Patrick Gutt, hold up those trophies. Now, ladies and gentlemen, get loud because they're going to throw those hats out to you. Yeah, like this crew right over here. Don't forget about this crew right over here. They're pretty good. Ooh, that's a good shot. Man, Coffee, nice job. All right, keep up this energy, California. Even you, Dyson Racing. Come on. Patrick Gutt, second place. Chris Coffey, first place. I love it. Look at the underside of the trophies, too. I've never noticed that. That's cool. I just fixed that. Eric said he just fixed that. All right, come on now. Last chance, Sonoma, for these guys. Super GT. Let's get loud. They're like, it's a doubleheader. Let's be gentlemen. We don't want to smell like alcohol. Yeah, doubleheader. Tomorrow they're going to be spraying that stuff. But he still gets it in the eyes. Little competitive advantage there with Patrick. Nice job. All right, we're going to go TA Cup Western. This is the JM Environmental. They're the title sponsors of this Trans Am race. And wait, let's hear it, JM Environmental. Come on now. Yeah, that's the energy I'm wanting. Second place. Let's hear it for the Cowboy, number 92, John Moore, the JM in JM Environmental. Running up here, I like that. I need whatever he has every day, which I hear is about 30 cups of coffee. So come on up there. We've got Derek and Tyler wait for the truck.
I think I'm third.
Not in Western. Oh, not in Western. This is for Western. So right up here. Right up there. No problem, man. It is 30 cups of coffee, isn't it, a day, I think? In first place, TA Cup Western. Come on, let's get loud. Cole Moore. And I got to add Cole Moore in his dad's car. So, John, why are you giving your son the rocket ship and now he's up here a step ahead of you?
Well, first, Big Ben. Big Ben, I just want to say thank you for having me. I appreciate being here very much. This crowd is insane. This facility is so welcoming, and I couldn't think of anywhere else I'd rather be than on the podium at Sonoma at a national. Good Lord, Trans Am, Racing America. It don't get no better. I got my son on the top of the box sitting next to me. I mean, come on. He had a little problem with his race car. It wasn't worth it. You know, he's carrying the national points. I said, how'd you like to just jump in the old 27? He said, I think that sounds like a good idea, Dad.
How about that? John Moore, ladies and gentlemen. Love this dude. I see Brody Goebel out there, one of our past champions. I love it. Cole Moore, take the mic, but you're going to be up here with us again.
Yeah, we just took it really patient from the start, you know, let the tires come to me. I knew I was starting in the back, and I knew Jim would get way out in front, but just put in some really good laps. Thanks to my dad, obviously, for letting me drive your car, and Chris Evans for letting my dad drive your car so we could all be out there. I think we might be back in the 99 tomorrow, sounds like. So, yeah, just so happy to be here. And, yeah.
How about that? Come on, JM. Let's hear you. Even you, Brody. You got to get louder than that. Hold those up together. What a cool father-son moment. They flew here together. They're on the podium together. I'm sure John would like to be on the top step there. You can throw that hat out. Who wants Cole's hat? Boo! It's probably set to pretty big with that fro. There we go. Come on now, get loud, JM. John Moore, Cole Moore. What a cool moment. Have father-son out here in TA Cup Western. Nice. I love it. Now, I'm not sure about champagne, guys, because you don't want to have to dry clean those things overnight. You might want to enjoy them. Take them out there, have a party. Yeah, you can spray whatever you want. Oh, they're going for it. There we go. I like that. Might as well spray the competition's car. I like that. Hey, but don't go too far, guys. Don't go too far. Yeah, exactly. All right, now we're going to TA Cup National. In third place, TA Cup National, John Moore. Come back up here. I said don't go too far. Second place, always brings fantastic cars with us. Absolutely love having him in the series. Let's hear it for Jim Guthrie with the Guthrie's Garage TA Cup car. Come on, Jared Oderick, we need a hoot from you. I know your hands are full. And then here we go. In first place, TA Cup National, doing very, very well. Our points leader, TA Cup National. Let's hear it for Cole Moore, leading in the National. But this is his hometown right here. So, John Moore, how was your race out there? You did 2 races in 1 race. How was this race?
Ben, I haven't seen you in forever. I'm glad to be here. This race was, again, come on. We're at Sonoma at a Trans Am National, brought to you by Racing America, JM Environmental. I got my youngest son standing on the top step. It's dreamy. I got to pinch myself.
I love it. Man, I love having you out here. We need to just follow John Moore around. We'd have a hit TV show. Jim Guthrie, Cole, you guys were the race to watch, man. Some great battles. I love, there's so much camaraderie in TA Cup. A clean race, but some great battles out there. Jim, take the mic. Tell us about your race.
Oh, thanks, Ben. Yeah, I picked up a push early, and I just tried to manage the gap to Cole. I saw him coming, and every time he get close, I tried to squeeze away. I just kept using the tire up, but he prevailed in the end. He got me. So it's been a good competition with Cole this year so far, and look to many more. So thanks, man.
Nice. How about that? I also look to many more. Cole, take the mic. Tell us about this race again, but now what does it mean for the National? Because you're doing really well.
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, the prep coming into this weekend was a lot, just the time and passion that we put into being here every day. It pays off to be up here on the podium. And, yeah, as far as the race, I think the carousel had a little more speed than Jim. I was able to get a good run going into 7 and just kind of waited for the right time and got it done. So, actually, it happened in 11, which I wasn't expecting. But, yeah, no, just thanks to Trans Am, thanks to Racing America, JM Environmental, JM Racing, my dad, and everybody that's here to support us. Thank you so much.
Nice. How about that? How about that? Come on, let's hear it. John Moore, Jim Guthrie, Cole Moore. How about that? Hey, there's a gentleman out there with the white checker backpack, Trans Am shirt. Come up here. I'm giving you a hat because I love that shirt. There we go. Jim Guthrie throwing out the hat. Ooh, hits the photographer. Come on now. Let's hear it. Let's get loud. John Moore, Jim Guthrie, Cole Moore. Come on, Sonoma. Get loud. Get loud. Let's hear it. This is fun. Man, I like that shirt. Did you get that here? You had it made?
I had it made.
You had it made. How about that? Well, you probably have some customers out here. You can make some more. John Moore, Jim Guthrie, Cole Moore. How about that? Love having you out here. Come on, JM. Let's hear you. I like that. Yes. Keep this energy up. I know it's a doubleheader. Keep this energy up. Just the champagne. Oh, watch out now. Sorry, Kevin. Let's see what they do. Oh, They go right for the competition's eyes. I love it. Man. John Moore, I'm going to start paying you to come to these races. Dude, that's awesome. I love having you guys out here. All right, guys. TA National, these 900 horsepower behemoths, no driver aids, fire breathing. These things are unbelievable. We've seen a lot of speed out of them. Tommy Dreese, you better have your phone on you, because in third place with Trent Shoring, he was just racing in the IROC Series. Let's hear it for Tommy Dreese, ladies and gentlemen, from Southern California. We call him Hollywood. Yeah, I know. Derek Wade, Tyler Wade with the trophies from U.S. Safety Solutions. Love it. Come on up there, Tommy. But you do have your phone on you, because every time Tommy gets on the podium, he takes a selfie. And someday, Tommy, you're going to send me all those, and we're going to make a montage. Ladies and gentlemen, in second place, and this would have been a great race, but good thing we're racing tomorrow. He had to come in because his window net fell down. He was the fastest car on track the rest of the race. Let's hear it. Pittsburgh Paints and Stains. Let's hear it for Paul Menard. And this weekend, Paul Menard ran his stock car that he ran here in 2003 also, that's out there in SVR8 Group 10. How cool is that? As Derek gives him the trophy. And then this is the craziest thing. This driver is now 60%. 60% of the races he's entered, he has won with the Jimwee Chris Dyson racing car. Let's hear it. Matthew Brabham out here on the top step. That is quite a record. 60% of the races entered. Oh, that's nice. Tommy rolling out the red carpet for him, too. Well, let's do that selfie, Tommy, and then I'm going to come talk to you. I love it. Oh, he's going to get up on the top step. He's snaking the top step. I like that. Oh, and little bunny ears, too. See, there we go. I love it. Tommy, how was the race in your home state? That's got to feel good.
Oh, it's great to be here and look at the fans and the support from everybody. The team did such a good job. This is a team podium because it was consistency and reliability. I didn't quite have the speed for these guys. I tried to get into the 30s for a qualifying thing with 2 laps to go, and I almost ate big shit. So, sorry. But I said, okay, we're good, P4. I couldn't get Rafa's time at all. But just thanks to Trent Shoring. They're in California. They're going to be, some of the people are going to be here tomorrow. Motul and the Peterson Automotive Museum, if you're ever in LA, Fairfax and Wilshire, one of the best museums you can go to. And but Lacey, Jagger, Elin, I'm not coming home yet because I got one more tomorrow.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Tommy Dreese, ladies and gentlemen. And, oh, wait, hold on.
Panteric, I'm sorry. We were racing hard, but God dang it. Nicest guy in the paddock. Anyway, apologies for getting into you, but go side by side next time.
Oh, nice. I like that. So, Paul Menard, I felt so bad such early in the race to have to come in because of the window net, which is per the rules for safety. But you were the fastest one out there after that, and you were just trying to get him. I'm sure you were hoping for a double yellow, but take the mic. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, hi to Jennifer, Remy, and Bo at home. Just a bummer. We had a good car, just passed Rafa for second, and obviously Brabham's been just lights out all weekend, but we're hoping to pressure him, and we got the black flag. But from then on, it was try to catch Tommy, try to catch David, and so I was on it where these guys could conserve their tires a little bit, but I just needed a caution to close up, but that we never got. So super clean race for everybody. We got tomorrow, so we got a little. We got some data to look through, and we're going to make some runs at Maddie tomorrow.
Nice. I love it. Come on now, get loud. Paul Menard. All right, and now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the best records ever in Trans Am, Matthew Brabham, trying to beat his dad's record. So, Matthew, take the mic. Tell us about your race.
It was fun there. It was awesome at the start, racing with Rafa. It's great to have a fast teammate and someone to give some pressure. Obviously, these guys on the podium are always out there giving us a hard time too. But yeah, no, big thank you to all the fans that stayed out early this morning. And then obviously Jim Weed, the Series Trans Am. It's just so good to be a part of. These cars are so much fun to race, especially side by side, banging wheels, going into turn one. So big thank you to Chris Dyson Racing. Chris at home, we wish you were here this weekend, but it's an honor to drive your cars. And big thank you to obviously everyone that supports the series. Jim Weed, once again, for being here. This is a home track for us. So big thank you. Cheers, guys.
All right, come on now, get loud. Debbie Gentilozzi's in the crowd watching. She's watched more Trans Am races than anybody, so come on, get loud. Tommy Dreese, Paul Menard, Matthew Brabham. I like this energy. Loving it. Keep it up. Even you, Xavier. You're saving that one, huh, Tommy? You don't want to throw it out? All right, come on. Who wants Tommy's hat? Boo! Nice, good catch, good snag. Come on, California. One of your last chances here. Tommy Dreese, Paul Menard, and Matthew Brabham up here. How about that? There's some Trans Am legends up here on these steps at Jim Weed Winner's Circle. Now remember, guys, Tommy just says, is everybody wearing the same suits? Meaning, oh, yeah, they're not. Oh, but Paul's got to spray him just a little bit. Come on now, last chance. Let's get loud, Sonoma. John Moore's still out there. Get loud for him. Debbie Gentilozzi's out there. She has the record for watching the most Trans Am races. Her husband has the record for winning the most Trans Am races. You guys, thank you so much for coming out. That does it for the TA series and the GT classes for today. We'll be right back here tomorrow, but coming up next is the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series. Come back to Winner's Circle because it's going to be another big party here. We'll see you guys in a bit. Oh,